Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of stories on Telangana. So this Congress thing, you see, but I would like to first what we are putting out on the screen right now, if we can pan, this is Kamareddy. KCR Garu is trailing in Kamareddy. Your comment on this first, I mean, Gajwel and Kamareddy, he took the risk. Rather, I would say he followed what NTR Garu also did it. I want your first comments as to why do you think, is it because of the Revanth Reddy factor? Obviously, flavor of the season is Revanth Reddy, but is there something else, anti-incumbency being right at the top as a reason? Banu.
One big picture statement, Sudha, before I get into it. One is like we have two governments that ran on welfare, one in Madhya Pradesh and one in Telangana. In Madhya Pradesh, you have a runaway victory for the incumbent, and in Telangana, you have a runaway defeat for the incumbent. So I think Indian democracy will confound analysts and statisticians and every observer. As far as Telangana is concerned, I think both Congress and BJP, as you know, like were fighting on welfare. So I think people have decided based on parivarvad, corruption, and misgovernance and so on. I think those emotive issues have taken precedence over the promises, and that's what we see in Kamareddy as well. We knew that like when Revanth was fighting Kamareddy against KCR and in Gajwel Etala was fighting against KCR, we knew that both the parties, since there was massive anti-incumbency, so that was a given. But this seems to be like a big win for the Congress.
Yeah.
One other quick observation about Telangana is that AMM has not is not leading in seven, which they usually do.
Yeah.
And also BJP is like the exit polls showed like around 12, 13. They are like nowhere near that. So I think it is Congress is like taking up a lot of these votes, I guess.
Banu, I want to ask you before I go to Gautam Mukherjee is that, apart from anti-incumbency, there was also this charge, and starting from COVID, you see, perceptions build over time. They do not change in a day. That KCR and his family have become totally incommunicado, as it were, with the people, with the bureaucrats, with the ministers, with the MLAs. It started with how they were always in Pragati Bhavan. They never met anybody. It was almost like a monarchy, which was, in function in Telangana. Do you think that has really hurt him? Really hurt KCR?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what I think. We sometimes when we analyze, we look at only the promises, the welfare measures, the emotional campaigns, and so on. But beyond that, there is this factor of whether you can trust this person to deliver. And I think that's where KCR has failed. Yeah, he has been inaccessible. He has a huge allegations of corruptions against him. So I think people have looked at it. Similarly, Parivarvad, there is this arrogance that comes to that you just mentioned. All forms like various aspects of anti-incumbency. I think like people have punished KCR for that.
Okay, let me go across to Bhaskar.
So just to add to Sudha's point, I think what the electorate is also telling, if you look at the different behavior in Telangana, both the places you had welfare politics play out. I think one important message which is coming from the voters is that welfare politics is something we definitely need, but we want the government, the chief minister, the key minister to be accessible to us
Absolutely.
I
as
wanted
well.
to also, yes, very, very good point. I wanted, but you were going to Bhaskar.
Yes, I wanted the big picture from Bhaskar. It's 2 into 2. I think it will be
Yes.
2-1 because ZPM is going to sweep Mizoram as per the exit polls. Is there a larger national picture or these are localized elections? I think we must also talk about that. Are these regional elections or is it telling us something about Lok Sabha also? Gautam.
Definitely, if this was a sweep in favor of Congress, there would be big questions raised about the Lok Sabha election. That is not the case. Retaining Madhya Pradesh is a tremendous exercise. Getting Rajasthan in all probability is also very commendable, and Rajasthan could see some progress. I am, in fact, in Rajasthan, and it is interesting to see this election. The other thing is BJP going to fit by in Chhattisgarh? At the same time, the remarkable performance of Congress in Telangana raises the question, why doesn't BJP have any any action in the South? Is it because of their silly attempt to impose Hindi, or is it because their language and their manners and morals are unintelligible in the south? And by and large, Karnataka works more because of Yadurappa in his heyday. But Telangana is pathetic to quote. When you see the rallies, a lot of people to come to see Modi, but is that just a curiosity factor? It is disappointing in the south for BJP, that's for sure, and a commendable possible victory for Congress and a change of the water in Telangana that has probably, lived its purpose.
You think editorial, Sudha here. Hi Gautam. Good you are in Rajasthan today to catch all the action. I want to ask you because before the they must all be writing editorials right now. But do you think it's become very clear that the South is something which is spoken in a voice that it's not going to, BJP will have to work extremely tough in the South if it has to for 2024. So almost if I can stick my neck out to say that it's not a BJP region at all, and whereas the north still has a lot of hope. So there is a clear divide in the sense of political ideologies, not in any other way. Gautam.
It certainly looks like that in assembly elections, though Karnataka has been won in the past and I believe will be won again in the future. What will happen in the Lok Sabha elections, however, is I think the South is also going to vote BJP because they do not have a credible situation in the INDIA and none of the southern leaders, let's take Stalin, is interested in going to the center. He's very happy in his own state, and there are no southern leaders that are willing to lead the charge towards the center. So, as a consequence, definitely Modi as the sort of credible candidate for the whole country, and I think to that extent they'll be fine for the general elections, but it is totally, a failure when it comes to assembly elections in the south. They might, like I said, get Karnataka back, but this is a very disappointing sort of indicator in Telangana where they seem to have completely missed the point, whatever it is.